Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of your Brains Coach podcast. My name is Shurina. I'm your host, I'm your Brains Coach, and it is my job here to deconstruct, bring to you, share with you all the recent, cutting-edge, best, most useful and effective brain-body tools so you could get out there, control your thought, your emotions, and most importantly, actions, and build the life you want. Today, while walking after my workout back home, I was thinking about this thought that I first heard, and really, it kind of just really sank into my psyche how powerful the thought was. I'm working on my communication with this communication instructor, teacher, educator. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but his first name is Vin, and he's super popular on Instagram, but also super successful in terms of teaching communication skills to a lot of companies like Microsoft or QuickBooks, or very great instructor. And in first few lessons of his course, he mentioned he's talking about vocal image and how each of us has this image of how we sound to other people, to ourselves. And we often think that how we sound, how we speak, this is our natural self. And Vin said, and that totally made sense after you think about that we actually don't have natural self or natural sounding self. It's just something that we got used to because of our environment, because how we were brought up. Like I was brought up in a family where being on a quieter side was appreciated more. And that is why it actually took me a while to start speaking up. But Vin really brought this idea back home that it's not my natural self keeping things to myself. Actually, my natural self is I'm discovering, sharing a lot of things. But it's my habitual self. And the power of the thought is that when something is habitual, it just means that you get used to doing it. You build habits or habitual behaviors or your default automatic behaviors. But just like any habit, you can change your habits. And with that, you can change how you sound, and you can change your default mood, and you can change your default energy. And so if you think, well, I'm always on a lower mood and I'm always quiet, or I'm always this or that. No, it's not actually you like you are supposed to be, or you coded in your genetics. No, it's something that you got used to because mostly your social environment, how you were brought up, your schooling, your parents, your siblings, all of that you absorbed, and then you created your default automatic behavior that you just have been repeating over and over and over again. We're talking about your responses to reality, to things that happen in your life. You just have been conditioned to respond in a certain way, and you never stopped and reconsidered whether that's actually working for you or not. And the power of stopping and pausing and reconsidering whether that's working for you or not, the power of it is that then if it's not working, you can change it. But just like any habit, it doesn't mean that now you know it and it's going to change. No, it will also, just like any habit, will require a ton of repetitions, hopefully with good, uplifting, enthusiastic emotions that, by the way, build the habits faster. And by repeating new behaviors over and over and over again, guess what? You can create a new habitual self. You can create a new natural self. The one, like in my case, that loves speaking up, that loves sharing, that loves being enthusiastic, outrageously courageous to speak up, even if I sound silly. And that's the kind of self that brings the best results, people, and opportunities into my life. And that's the kind of self that I want to make my new habitual self. So the thought of the day, folks, is to stop for a moment and think about aspects of your personality, how you show up in the world that are serving you, that making you feel good, make your life move forward, but also the ones that don't serve you. And then when you exercise them, so to speak, your life either stands still or moves backwards and you feel like you're running in circles. Just stop and become aware of those aspects of self that might not be serving you and realize that is not you grained in stone. That is your habitual self that you adapted because of circumstances of your life. And that habitual self that keeps you running in circles, you can actually change. You can change your emotions, you can change your mindset, you can change your moods and your automatic behaviors, just like you can change any habit. But also, just like any habit, it will require work. So that was powerful. Even that realization would make the whole course worthwhile. But there is also a lot of really good stuff that I'm starting to dig deeper in. And communication is one of the core leadership skills that when you master, you just get so disproportionately a lot more opportunities. And because not a lot of people actually work on their communication skills because they think it's their natural way or no way. You can actually get an unfair advantage quickly over a lot of people just by really mastering your communication. So that's about communication. Today, the most important topic of the podcast are the tools of resilience. Specifically, I'm going to be sharing with you tools that worked in my life for more than a decade now, tools that I also encountered or learned about or heard of while listening to successful entrepreneurs, successful leaders, change agents who build themselves from zero to hero. And there is a lot of commonality. Once you hear enough founder and entrepreneurial leadership stories, you're like, that's actually a common trait that people develop and that leads to success. And then the same tools I applied in my life and they keep leading me in the upward direction. So resilience tools that I've used to help me keep going, never quitting, never stopping, no matter what was happening in my life, no matter what roller coaster life and business took me on, I would still keep going. And now things slowly, gradually, but surely starts picking up. And the goal for me for the next 3 years is to build a business that helps at least 1 million people to do their best consistently. And by doing that, building $1 million in revenue plus business in the next 3 years. So watch me making it happen. Watch me on this podcast where I'm going to be sharing with you stories and tools, and also join me on Instagram, Angela Brain Body Coach, where I post a lot more, obviously, videos and pictures, everything that Instagram is famous for and so popular for. So tools of resilience. Without these tools, folks, you don't have a chance. Well, I'm not talking about using any specific tool. I'm talking about without developing and working on your resilience, you have no chance of developing anything great in this world. Life and your business, when you set a goal, when you set an aspirational, inspiring, big goal, transformational goal, life and your business will take you on a journey. And if you don't lean in and don't develop these resilience tools, you have no chance of success. If everything was easy without you having to develop grit and resilience, most people would have it. But since most people don't have it, you can guess where you're going to end up if you don't develop these tools. Life is still quite hard, but you can do it one step at a time. First, Number one tool that I used for more than a decade, and I see all of the leaders, successful entrepreneurs use it all the time. Every morning, you gotta get going. Like, you gotta start doing something. What helped me a lot is waking up every day and getting out there, outside in the world, going for a walk, going for a workout. The purpose of and the scientific explanation of this is next. Number one, when you get in the world and you put your feet on the ground and you let the gravity do the work and you walk and you see people, you see nature, you see the world around you, it takes you out of your thinking head and it takes you back into life, into the world where you have the opportunity to make a change and where you feel fully alive and where you take action instead of overthinking things and trying to think yourself out of a problem or out of not feeling that great on any specific day, right? So for the past decade and more, I've been just waking up, and the first thing in the morning I would do is put my shoes on my feet and get out there, go for a walk, whether that's in the city, whether that's by the beach, whether that's in the mountain, it doesn't matter where. Just get out there for at least 20 minutes. And just interact, see the world, feel the connection that you are a part of it, that you are alive, and realize how freaking lucky that is to be here, seizing these dreams, opportunities, and having the ability to take action. And what it also does, scientifically speaking, is creates this, well, it's behavioral activation. When you start doing things, when you start working, especially when you start doing something hard, like working out or doing some exercise in the morning, it also boosts the dopamine production in your brain, the one that is actually used by the body to generate movement, but also the same dopamine that gives you the feeling of purpose, of motivation, of drive. It gives you energy, creativity, it boosts your curiosity. So you change your brain chemistry in a way that helps you then to feel a lot more confident and driven and wanting to go and do things. So on the mornings when you, especially on the mornings when you don't feel like it, just get up and get going. Like literally put your shoes on your feet and get going. Like create an agenda for yourself. Go, I don't know, grab coffee, go around the block, go meet some neighbors and say hello to people who walk their dogs. Even better, do something hard, maybe walk uphill. Or that's why, a lot of people start running, because it is something harder, but it also it also creates that beautiful brain-body chemistry, of course, changes your metabolism and a lot of other things. But it also puts you back into life, into driver's seat, where you can take action and change things. So one resilient tools that kept me going, and it's the same for almost every single person out there. One simple thing is have a routine, but even better, from my perspective, is the routine that gets you out there, interacting with the world, seeing people, saying hello, greeting the day, greeting the world. And if you do something hard, that's a special bonus. And if you do that, even a small way, like 10 minutes, get out there and go for a walk, fast walk, maybe do some exercise, some jumping jacks, do that. I would also usually try to see some people and say hello. Again, that connects you back to life and feeling and being alive and realizing how much opportunity you have. And also it changes, again, your brain chemistry that makes you feel more energized, more driven, more capable, and like wanting to go out there, seize the day, explore the day. So the first tool of resilience is have a morning routine that gets you up and going every single day, especially in between entrepreneurs. I always see them like having this question, why do I procrastinate? Well, start doing things first thing in the morning and your procrastination for the rest of the day will go away. Behavioral activation, look it up. Start doing and that will make you feel like doing. So get out there every single morning for at least 20-minute walk. It's really amazing if you see the people, if you see sunshine, because that is also super beneficial for your brain chemistry and your sleep and your mood and your motivation. So get out there, get going every single morning. The second tool of resilience that is super powerful and have been used and advertised and promoted in their work and in their life by so many gurus, from Tony Robbins to even the guy before him, Jim Rohn, who was one of his mentors and coaches. Tool that is used by Navy SEALs, by top athletes and performers. This tool is just so everywhere, but nobody talking about it a lot because it becomes such a second nature to you that you don't even realize you're using that. But framing, that's what I'm talking about. One of the most powerful tools to change your mindset, to change that habitual self, to change your moods, your energy. Framing. You see, I always like to bring this analogy of a coin. A coin has two sides, tails and heads. And each of them exists. But depending on which side of the coin you're looking at, you only see one side, right? Tails or heads. So which one do you see? If you have a coin, pick it up and look at it. Look at it. You only can see one side. But guess what? The other side is always there. It's always there as well. And you can flip the coin and see the other side as well. And so the same truth for almost every single, I don't even know any aspect of reality that doesn't have another side. So whatever happens in your life, like for example, like with a lot of my clients that I help find clarity and direction and figure out what to do, what next steps to take to get closer to the goals, aspirations, visions that they develop for their life or we develop together. So with my clients, I always tell them, well, okay, you don't have no clue where you want to go. You don't have any clarity. You don't know what to do. You're lost. But look at the other side of the same coin. Now you have limitless opportunity, possibility. You're not bound by any commitments or goals, and you can take any direction. You can choose any direction, and you can end up in wonderful, amazing, mind-blowing places. You can explore. You can take this time and explore all these other possibilities that exist that you haven't committed yet to. So you are at this point of limitless possibilities. And it is an absolute truth that you don't have a plan. You are open to everything. And that's actually a powerful place to be, open-minded, not focused on anything, not chasing anything, but allowing all of these options to exist and for you also to be able to consider all of this. That is a very actually powerful place. The same like with being single. Yeah, you don't have anyone, but you have a limitless option to try on. So any aspect of reality has this other side. And the trick is, why you want to master this framing skill of looking at the other side all the time. Because in life, you want to move forward. You want to change your mood for a more positive, optimistic, driven one. That's the one that's going to move you closer towards something bigger, something more meaningful in your life. And when you know how to tweak your own mood and your energy in a moment, you then don't spend time ruminating and just running in circles, but instead you move forward one step at a time, forward and forward and forward, transforming your life one framing exercise or one framing sentence experience at a time. Another one for entrepreneurs in service industry especially, sometimes you don't get a client or a partnership or an investment that you hoped for, but who told you that you knew the best possible option for you? What if, and that's actually the case, what I heard from most of the entrepreneurs who say every no actually led me exactly where I needed to be to come here right now. And so when you don't land that investment, when you don't land that partnership, when you don't land that client, Think about all the possibilities that are out there that the universe is trying to bring to you. And yes, sometimes to bring new opportunities into your life, the universe will have to say no to the other opportunities because you said you wanted this, but guess what? You don't know how it's going to manifest in your life. So when you get a no, realize that another better yes is coming. And from my experience, that's exactly what was happening all the time. I wouldn't get a client or I wouldn't get a contract. And then in the next week, 2, sometimes a month, something much better will manifest because of the actions I took because of that no. And I would say, oh, thanks God that didn't happen. And I kept working on these other things that then created this opportunity that is so much freaking better. So when you get a no, realize that the universe is trying to bring to you something better, something more aligned with what you want, with what you have in mind. So listen to those signals from the universe and realize it's all working for you, not against you. You just never know how things are supposed to manifest to bring you the dreams, the desires, the goals that you have. So that's, here I used framing again. No is usually considered to be like negative. It is not. It is bringing something better into your life. And some skeptics might say, well, how do you know that? You're right. I don't exactly know that. But that notion, that belief, that understanding makes me want to do more things, move forward, change things. And that's what I'm looking for when I'm using framing myself or with my clients. I'm looking for energy, for mood that will move us forward. I don't really care if that's exactly truth or not. It can be truth either way. But what will move you forward? What's working for you? Keep that. Keep looking at that side of the coin because that what will move you forward, and that the only thing that matters. Right, so that is resilience tool number 2 that you absolutely have to master if you want to become a resilient entrepreneur who will go through anything and will get to their success. Number 3, controlling your mental focus. That is also a tool you cannot skip if you are committed to becoming leader, entrepreneur, change agent that you say you want to be. Focus, mental focus, taking control of your mental focus. Again, switching that focus to the things that put you back into the driver's seat, helping you to feel like taking more action so you can transform any situation you are in. What am I talking about? Controlling your mental focus. That I think I learned it the best from Rich Divini, the author of 25 Hidden Attributes of Optimal Performance. We hopefully are going to be collaborating soon, and I'm going to be becoming one of his trainers. So focus. Navy SEALs use it to take action in the most unpredictable missions and situations, transforming any mission, if not into success, then a situation with minimum losses. Navy SEALs missions and all the operations that they do happen in environment of a lot of unpredictability and uncertainty. And that actually creates a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety unless you learn how to switch your focus on things that are entirely in your control. Like the next minute of action. We are getting ready for this. We are deploying here. And in the next 5 minutes, we're going to be doing that. So what Rich Divini told me is as Navy SEALs, they master the skill of focusing on the thing that they control to trigger optimal performance, to deliver their best on every step, to give themselves the best chance of success. They never focus on like the whole mission or the future or all the things that can go wrong and things that are out of their control. Instead, they focus on the next moment and all the things that where they can perform optimally, where they can build success, where they can take action and control outcomes. And so as an entrepreneur working in an environment with a lot of uncertainty, a lot of unpredictability, you just freaking never know while building things that you've never built before and maybe nobody has ever built before. You're going to be working with a lot of uncertainty, failure, unpredictability. And if you don't learn how to quiet that anxiety, how to quiet that stress response that make you do stupid things, if you don't learn how to quiet that by focusing on things you can control and taking immediate action in that circle of your control, if you don't do that, you're doomed. You're going to burn out. You're going to stress the F out. Your anxiety, you're going to ruin your life and you're not ever going to be able to take it to the next level. I was talking to quite a few leaders, entrepreneurs, and people at executive positions, and we were talking about what differentiates people who make it to the top and people who never make it anywhere and stay at the same level, overwhelmed and stressed and burning out and anxious. And what differentiates people who go all the way to the top is that ability to quiet that anxiety and that stress caused by a lot of unpredictability and a lot of uncertainty. And the way people do it is focus on what they can control and then taking action in that circle or sphere of their control. So learning how to control your mental focus is another tool of mental resilience that you absolutely have to train to develop. And again, just like with any habit, you have to train it, you have to develop it. Just because you heard it and you understood it, it doesn't mean then from now on, you're going to be practicing it like a master. Not at all. You will have to catch yourself over and over and over again and rewire your habitual, your automatic response, or where your mind goes in certain situations until that becomes your new normal. And by the way, what helps you to catch those moments where your mind starts doing its automatic thing and you start worrying and being anxious, what will help you to develop that skill of catching those moments? Awareness and mindfulness and doing things like meditation and breath work. All this mindfulness work that you probably heard about not one time and you think, oh, well, when I'm not busy, I'm going to practice that. No, that is a meta skill, a skill that is absolutely required to master anything around your mindset, a skill of awareness, and that is practiced through mindfulness, through mindful practices like meditations, like breath works, what other tools? Journaling, another one. Just paying attention to what is happening around you and inside of you, like doing body scans and that yoga nidra that I talked so many times on this podcast, and you can hear more about from Andrew Huberman, right? So raising your awareness of what's happening inside of you and outside of you, that is a meta skill that you need before you can master things like focus, or before you can master things like framing, or before you can master your emotions. So that's why mindfulness is so crucial to practice every single day. Tool number 4 for resilience, and it's not so much of a tool as it is a set of lifestyle habits that you need to start practicing, creating, reinforcing to create the reserve then you could use going through challenging moments, through stressful situations, through a lot of situations that will challenge you, require you to give energy and show up as your best self, So the tools that will help you to build the habits that will help you to build that reserve that then you can use to attack any challenge, the habits are very simple. Core habits of healthy lifestyle. Sleep 7 to 9 hours on the same schedule without any substances like booze or caffeine in you. Nutrition, having your good quality, high quality nutrition, unprocessed foods most of the time, your proteins, a lot of fruit and vegetables. We get your exercise, having some physical practice every single day. A human being that exercises is not the same human being that sits on their ass all day long, and your mind is not the same and your brain is not the same. Nothing works the same when you sit on your ass the whole day. I'm sorry to break it to you guys, but if you don't take your 8 to 10,000 steps a day, if you don't exercise, if you don't move, your brain doesn't groove and you're going to have all kinds of brain and mental health issues. So exercise, nutrition, sleep, those are fundamental lifestyle habits that as a human being who is interested in optimal performance and making great things happen and consistently making them happen and sustaining them for a long period of time, that very often entrepreneurship will take. These are foundational habits that you absolutely have to develop that will build the reserve, the energy reserve, the mental resilience reserve, the stress management reserve that you need to then get out there and be challenged and make things happen regardless, right? So that is a resilience lifestyle, I'd say. And the last but not least, resilient tools that I absolutely nailed for one reason or the other, maybe because of the way I was brought up and a lot of different challenges in my childhood. I just had to develop this as a coping mechanism, I guess. And then it helped me to get through all of the challenges that entrepreneurship and traveling around the world and figuring things out as a young adult brought. It helped me to get through all of that and get to the other side a lot stronger, a lot wiser, still shooting after the moon, at the moon and at the stars with high spirits and optimism. So what is this beautiful, magical, resilient tool that I've developed as a kid due to necessity, and then that just kept paying me dividends throughout my life? Well, the tool is knowing your why. Your reason for doing things. Why do you want to do all these things? Why do you want to achieve things? Why do you want to achieve your goals? And if you say it's a number in my bank account, folks, this is not a reason to live. Money is never a reason to live. Now, money can help you to get other important, essential things for your happiness, like, for example, helping your loved ones, or for me, spending quality time with my parents who are right now in Russia, and it takes quite some money to go and visit them and to reconnect and to also being able to help them, right? And so that is connected to financials and to money and to specific numbers. And that will drive me on the hardest days. But the money itself, the amount, it's never a driver. And if it is, it's going to burn you out and stress you out until you figure out what is it that makes money so important? What drives you? Why is it so important, right? So figuring out why is crucial. And here I want to share with you a quote by Nietzsche that goes something like, because he is German, so even English translation isn't exactly accurate. So Nietzsche said, "He who has a strong enough why can bear any how." And also there's been quite a lot of work in psychology around this idea that when a person has a purpose, has a mission, has a vision that is connected to their true values, their core values, their true self, when people have a clear connection to that, the challenges that life brings to them don't stress them out. Then that make them stronger, more resilient, and if anything, happier. And it gives you more resources. So taking the time to And there are exercises, and I also do guided sessions to help people uncover their why and their reason for doing things and for living and for pursuing certain goals. It takes time for you to figure that out. It's totally okay to not knowing it off the bat. It takes time to figure that out, folks. It takes work. It's not about just thinking it for a second and deciding this is my goal. No, it actually takes work. It takes journaling, specific writing exercises, reflection, spending time by yourself, solitude. It takes work. It takes work to analyze your life experience and what you did and why you did it, and then drawing conclusions from that, exploring your personal history. So that takes work. But once you understand what drives you in life, the challenges that are going to come into your life on your journey, and they will make you stronger, more resilient, happier, more resourceful, and the best version of you can possibly be. Again, Nietzsche, he who has a strong enough why can bear any how. And that's where I like to finish today's podcast on. So we discussed 5 tools of mental resilience that, according to ChatGPT, are something that most entrepreneurs, business owners feel they need and want to develop to be able to succeed with their goals on their journey. So resilience, again, something not you're gonna have because you understand it, but something that you're gonna train with exercises, with practices. And just like any habit, it's gonna take time, it's gonna take repetition, it's gonna challenge you. But once you have it, once you develop your mental resilience, there is like literally nothing that will stop you. So let's recap. Tool number 1, wake up and get going. Figure out a routine that will get you out of the house and get you moving first thing in the morning. No exceptions, no negotiations. Thank me later. Number 2, framing, looking at the other side of the coin, and there is always the other side of the coin. And it's not about what is true and what is not. The coin has both sides as well. It's about what's gonna make you get up, get going, and keep going until you get where you need to go. So framing. Number 3, mental focus, basically controlling on which side of the coin again are you looking at, and controlling and making sure you're focusing on things you can control, just like those Navy SEALs. You don't need to understand and know and think of all the unpredictable things on your mission, on your journey. You just need to take the next step and take care of the next issue, problem. You just need to focus on things that you can control and take one step at a time towards your goal. Just like Navy SEAL, you can do almost any unpredictable world-saving mission happen once you focus on what you can control and take one step at a time. Take action. Number 4, recharge station. Pay attention to lifestyle, 3 core lifestyle habits that will give you the energy, the resources to be resilient. Without those, your resilience is not going to be sustainable, nor anything else when we're talking about entrepreneurial journey, building successes, or having any goal achieved in your life. You will not have sustainability of your effort without those 3: sleep, nutrition, exercise. If you do not have consistent habits based on good research, based on good science, something that is proven to be working and effective, you don't have your consistent habits in those 3. And by the way, you can develop habits. If you don't have them, just work on them one step at a time, one tiny step at a time. So this is your charging station. If you don't have those, you're not going to have resilience. And number 5, Nietzsche, he who has strong enough why can bear any how. So spend time. If you don't know where to start, there is a link to our session together where I will guide you through the process. If you don't know your why, folks, it's going to be extremely difficult to almost impossible to keep going. It will burn you out, stress you out, and crush it to your knees. And I don't know if you're gonna get back up without understanding what drives you in this life and in your pursuits. That's it for today, guys. Well, this podcast was useful, important, and effective at moving you forward and getting you off your bottom. Today, share this podcast episode. Don't forget to share it with other change agent entrepreneurs, purpose-driven folks who are struggling in their own ways because they are struggling with their mindset or their focus or their energy levels. Give them this podcast. It might make them think differently, and that's the beginning of change. Thinking differently and then considering a change. So please do share this podcast episode in any way you can. There is also a session for us to connect and to walk through any of the tools that you heard about today, figuring out your why perhaps. So use it while till last. I don't know how long it's going to last, but use it. And till next time, folks, work on that resilience muscles, because once it's strong, there is nothing stopping you. And have an awesome day ahead. Squeeze every moment that life offers you and make the most out of it.